Yes,
your
thank you,
nomination.
thank you, thank
How does
you.
it feel to be recognized for your work?
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's just we were nominated last year,
Mm-hmm.
and last year was a bit of a blur because it was very exciting and my first nomination
Right.
ever. So it was
Oh.
like, you know, your wedding perhaps, where
Right.
the
Uh-huh.
whole night just kind of goes by because it's so exciting.
Right.
This year's more
Mm-hmm.
because I know we're up for it's just such an amazing evening. It's so wonderful to be with all
Right.
your peers and
Mm-hmm.
all the great shows that are nominated, and it's you know it's an award, but it's also just being I don't know, recognized for your work. I mean,
Right.
I've been doing this for a long time, so it's just like anything.
Yeah.
It's nice to be recognized for what you
Mm-hmm.
do.
Oh my God, that's great. And
Yeah.
then, how do you feel like the business has changed over the years? You've done a lot of series,
Yeah.
movies, and stuff. How do you think the business has changed over the years?
I mean, there's a lot more. I do primarily TV,
Mm-hmm.
so there, a lot has changed, and the expectations has changed. And
Right.
obviously, the shows are a lot more um, feature film worthy.
Right. Exactly.
They're so. The production value is
Mm-hmm.
incredible, and especially on a show like Lemony Snicket, every set was built. We were never outside. We were never
Wow.
on a location.
Right.
I think they actually went in season one. They went to a forest, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, everything was built.
Oh my God, that's
Um,
great.
yeah, the scope of the work and
Mm-hmm.
it's just amazing.
That's
But
great.
it's also done, pretty rapid fire.
Yeah.
It's still, we had a real generous prep time. We had 24, 25 days. But when you're building a city
Right.
and all the workings within the city and the apartments and everything has to work, and we had elevators, we had, grand
Oh my
I mean, our
goodness.
set
It
design
seems
was
like,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges for you when you're doing the season? Was it budget? Was it deadline? Not enough time to prepare?
Yeah, I think the challenges on this show, we were really supported. We had a really amazing production team with Barry Sonnenfeld. He had a clear vision
Mm-hmm.
always, and I think between himself and Bo Welch, our production designer, who's a mad genius, um, it was very clear what our
Right.
goal was. I still had to figure out some of the costume puzzles that
Mm-hmm.
fit within their vision, but
Right.
it was I want to say it was quite seamless, which was why it worked,
Oh,
because it's not
great.
always like that.
Right.
It's really, you don't always work with people that are so in sync, that you're so in
Right.
sync with.
That's
So
great.
that was great. We Time probably was, as
Mm-hmm.
always, an
Yeah.
issue, even though we seemed like we had a lot of time to create, and all of the different characters and
Right.
all of the, every single piece was made. Shoes,
Right.
foundation garments, what you see on top, hats,
Mm-hmm.
and all the prosthetic makeup and
Yeah.
wigs. I mean, it was really a well fleshed out
I
show
know.
as far as that goes. So, just time,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure.
How did the show vary from season to season? Did you have a different set of challenges that you didn't have in the first season,
No,
first couple of
for
seasons?
me it was pretty constant from season 2 to 3.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't do
good.
season 1,
Oh, uh-huh.
so I want to say it was pretty seamless. We also kind of pushed on through because our kids were growing.
Yeah.
And in the books, they don't age.
Right.
So we had that. And we also had a baby that was turning into a toddler.
Right,
So
right.
we I think we had a short break. We might have had a month off in between seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember.
Oh my God.
So it was just like we motored through.
Yeah.
So it was really all one big season
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Let me take you back just a teeny bit.
Yeah.
Was there one like movie you saw or television show you saw or some sort of costume that made you say, you know what, I think I want to be in this business. I want to do this for a
Oh.
living.
Um, well, whew, let me see. Before I started doing this, I was in musical theater and
Mm-hmm.
dance. So I was always kind of in this
Right.
world to some degree, whether I was actually performing or making costumes.
Right.
And very early on, and forgive me, but I cannot remember the name of the movie, but a smaller movie came into town. They
Mm-hmm.
were looking for someone who had experience making Russian-style tutus
Oh, nice.
for a scene they had for two characters that were going to kill each other on stage, and they had to be like razor sharp and all this sort of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got the bug then,
Yeah.
and then I pestered a production designer for about a year, and he got an indie and said, "Do you want to do it?" And I said,
Oh
"Absolutely."
my God, that's
And
great.
I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't read a call sheet for my life,
Oh, uh-huh.
and I had two people working with me for 9 weeks. I even drove our truck for a little while until I realized that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was just like a 5-ton, and then yeah, so that was the beginning for me.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that is great.
yeah.
And so, where do you go for your inspiration?
I haven't answered that question for a really long time. That was amazing. That took me. It's like a birth experience or something.
I know. I'm just wondering. And then, where do you go for your inspiration? Just like your day to day. Is it
Oh.
you watch other shows? Is it on the street? Do you see fashion? Where do you? get
Yeah,
your inspiration
everywhere, and it depends on the show, and it depends on the characters,
Yeah.
obviously. For Lemony Snicket, a lot of it was on the page.
Yeah.
You know, it was very the octopus dress, for instance, was well. Actually, that
That's
wasn't.
so cool.
She wasn't on the page. It was just she's wearing an octopus dress, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Right. Exactly.
So clearly, for inspiration, turned to Gaga
Yeah.
because she
That's
did,
great.
you know, something. She was, and Ursula,
Mm-hmm.
the sea witch.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So those are my two big inspirations for her. But yeah, you look around and the books.
Yeah.
I tried to steer away from the movie and the art of the books because it was a very Edwardian, and obviously we were not.
Right.
And just colors of the periods
Right.
that we were passing through.
Great.
We were kind of periodless, so that was a challenge at the beginning. But once we sort of, you know, started moving into the idea that you could be wearing multiple periods,
Right.
then it really added to our fantasy and the suspense of reality for our show. And I think it really, really worked because that bled right into, you know, the set design,
Right.
the props, the amazing props on this show.
Great looking stuff.
Yeah, it really, I think it's a once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
I really
Oh my
do.
God, that's
I mean, how
great.
many Lemony Snickets out there are
Yeah,
there?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
And then we're here at FIDM. There's so many, like your fellow
So
nominees,
amazing. I
your
love
colleagues
this.
here. Yeah,
Yeah,
one of my favorite
it's so
events all
great.
year.
So great.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's nice to see everything else. It really kind of puts a lot of the shows in perspective. I mean,
Right.
to be able to see the close up, you know, the costumes up
Right.
close is really, it makes it all really tangible, and
know.
you see what goes into it. I think
Right.
that's
And
really
then
something.
speaking of like detailing and stuff, it's
Yeah.
like, I can't let you go without saying, oh my God,
Miss
that is
Dragonfly.
so beautiful.
And
Was
it's-
there like a particular thing in your head that?
Well, Beatrice Baudelaire,
Mhm.
Beatrice, we don't see her, Snicket, I mean, we don't see her throughout the series.
Mhm.
She's spoken of because she's Lemonie's, the love of his life. And then near the end, we finally see how she dies.
Yeah.
That dress, those wings worked on 3 different costumes.
Beautiful.
So they had 3 different mounts, and they had to look effortless and like they were a part of the body of the person wearing them, not a part of the costume in a sense. So that was challenging. The final, and also when we shot the first dress with the wings, which was supposed to be Beatrice, the actress was not cast yet. So we had a beautiful photo double that we thought might be similar to the woman the actress we might cast. So that was nerve-wracking.
Right, I can imagine.
But so the wings worked on a photo double first, and then later this is a flashback when we see her at the opera. So the wings had to look somewhat
Yeah.
real, or at least in scope, feel like they felt real for the body that was wearing them, and sort of transform you, I guess. And Morena is just so beautiful, and she really worked the costume. They just didn't. I wish they had more screen time.
Yeah.
That's all I wished about
It's
them.
beautiful, lasting. It's such a beautiful display.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank
on the
you.
nomination
Yeah,
and
thank you so
everything.
much.
Good luck to you.
Thanks. Yes, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It was nice talking to you.
You too. Yeah.
you.
Yes.